What's up everyone, it's Benedict here, aka BHL Hudson. Welcome back to the BHL2 channel, and today I got a video for you that's a bit in a similar vein to the Best Directors Worst Movies video I made a little while ago, but sort of the opposite, and with actors instead of directors. I'm talking about the best performances in the worst movies. Now, a little criteria, a little setup. When I say worst movies, I don't mean like literally the, lowest rated Dragon Ball Evolution, Battlefield Earth type of movies. I'm talking about just like bad movies in general that have a surprisingly good performance in there. As you can see on the screen, for example, we're talking some superhero movies where weirdly someone just like locked in and brought a crazy villain performance or something like that. Could be kind of an interesting concept, so yeah, let's get into it. First of all, first pick I have here. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of superhero movies on here because, as of late especially, there are a lot of like slop superhero movies, but they still have like exceptional actors cast in them, and they do some good work. And I'm going to say Dark Phoenix, Professor X, aka James McAvoy, Charles Xavier, and also, I didn't put him on the screen here, but I will include Michael Fassbender as Magneto as well. They bring it in Dark Phoenix despite that movie being like total dog shit. The X-Men movies have always been pretty fantastically cast, from the originals with Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman. And then, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, they carried the torch forward perfectly. And even though those films declined in quality, there are still moments in Dark Phoenix where you get their, both their chemistry and also their acting ability. Even though like the scene at the end of them playing chess in a cafe, it's not a like super strong, well-written scene, and it's kind of, we've seen them playing chess before a million times, but you still get like the acting chops of, honestly, I would say two of the best actors of this generation. Dark Phoenix, in hindsight, might not be like the worst superhero movie. I see clips from it occasionally, like the train fight, that's okay. There's still a lot of bad stuff in it, but they specifically bring it, and I feel like that should be respected. Also, fun fact, this will not be the last time James McAvoy appears in this video. Bro is in some stinky movies, but he's always bringing it, so we gotta respect that. And he's in some good movies occasionally. But another one I have here, Emilia Perez, Zoe Saldana, Oscar-winning performance, I'm pretty sure. Emilia Perez, it's funny because I saw it like it had vague Oscar buzz, but it was before it was like a thing at all, and I watched it, when it came out on Netflix, and I thought, okay, it's a little strange, this is getting so much buzz, this is kind of a weird movie, like the tone and the style of it is a bit all over the place, but I didn't hate it as much as like it became hated. I thought it was like kind of interesting, I guess. I didn't think it was flawless, but one aspect of it that is pretty acceptably great, sort of universally acknowledged, seen with, her Oscar win, I think Zoe Saldana is very good, and maybe the fact that she is amongst some performances that are not great, that maybe elevates her. But I think even the stuff that she's given to work with that's very Emilia Perez-esque, that's, super either on the nose or like really corny. Like, how do you pull off some of the style here, some of the musical numbers, the penis or vagina song, that's a classic clip. To be able to pull that off, relatively well, I think that's impressive. And I think, again, I know Emilia Perez is a goofy, weird movie, but I think the amount of stuff she does, she sings, she dances, she's, I don't know, speaking multiple languages, I'm pretty sure, throughout, acting well, as Zoe Saldana does. I think there needs to be some respect put on her name. I can't remember who else was nominated that year, but I think it's, not an unworthy Oscar win, for considering, what the rest of the movie is. I think that's kind of impressive. We move on to, yes, the other James McAvoy addition on this list, the movie Glass, where he plays, fucking crazy The Beast guy. I was gonna put him for Split here, but honestly, Split's a pretty good movie. Like, Split isn't anything to write home about, but it is like a solid thriller. It has its interesting premise and creepy moments. And I think the fact that that movie is built around the James McAvoy performance and Anya Taylor-Joy, but I think that is honestly to its benefit because he's so good at this role. Speaking of Emilia Perez, of like hard to pull off, how did you not make this more goofy? In an M. Night Shyamalan movie, playing this ridiculous, character, you have to play like a little boy and a monster and an old lady or whatever. For it to actually be pulled off, like there are so many clips from M. Night movies that are like cringy and unintentionally funny. For this to actually work, I think is incredibly impressive, which is kind of a weird compliment to give, that like, in spite of who is directing you, you gave a good performance, but he pulls it off. And in Glass, a film that is mess personified, it's as messy of a film as you'll watch, I think he is by far the highlight. I mean, Bruce Willis, I've seen him more checked out in other stuff. It's not one of his, like, most, the later Bruce Willis era, like, paychecky performances. He's fine, and Samuel Jackson is okay, but he definitely stands out. It's quite a physical performance at times. He does the big, leaping dog run. That's that's pretty great. Yeah, McAvoy, respect for giving it your all for movies that honestly probably did not did not deserve it. Move on to, okay, all right, this is a controversial one. Some of the movies that are like bad movies, it's going to be up to my interpretation as well. So I won't spend too much time on this, but The Substance, it's a movie that was beloved. It was nominated for Best Picture. I was really not a fan of it. I felt like I get the point of it. I get it's supposed to be over the top and silly, but I don't think it's like some kind of ode to German expressionism or what I've seen video essays about like how brilliant it is, and I'm like, actually, I just think it's like kind of corny and like kind of obvious and not very good. However, Demi Moore, there are redeeming elements, the effects and some of the horror, and Demi Moore is pretty fantastic in it. I think it is also very substance-like that she lost the Oscar to Mikey Madison, but I think she brings it, and I think to do, sort of a vulnerable performance in this way, I guess, for like an older actress to portray an older woman who, has, I don't know if it's body dysmorphia, but, insecurities about her body and her age and that kind of stuff. That takes some courage. It's, again, kind of like McAvoy. Bit of a physical performance at times, for sure. Yeah, I respect it. I respect what The Substance in general was going for. I just don't think it really pulled it off. But yeah, she is not the problem with that film, I would say, in my estimation of it being a bad movie. We move on to more of a universally agreed upon bad movie, the Fantastic Beasts films. I'm talking 2 and 3 here. Honestly, I don't know which is worse. I think 2 is the Crimes of Grindelwald is more boring. And the third one, The Secrets of Dumbledore, might be dumber. So I don't know, pick your poison. I don't know which one's worse. But throughout them, there are decent performances. But highlighted definitely as like an actual standout is Jude Law as Dumbledore in those films. I think he brings... I can't say he's the best Dumbledore. That's like... that just feels wrong to say. But I've talked ad nauseum before about how I don't love the 2 portrayals of Dumbledore in the originals. I think it's either too kind of goofy and whimsical or too serious and yelling at children in the face or whatever. I think Jude Law, he brings a little bit of the twinkle in the eye. He brings a little bit of the stuff with, Grindelwald, the romance turned antagonistic relationship. He's very good. Jude Law is in general very good, and I think he fits the role very well. So he is like a standout in 2 films that are messy and kind of boring and, didn't leave much of an impression on me otherwise. After that, this is the one from the from the title sequence. Title sequence? I don't have a fucking theme song. The title card and probably the thumbnail. Christian Bale in Thor Love and Thunder. Almost like... he's so good in Thor Love and Thunder, it's almost like a bad thing. It's almost like kind of embarrassing for him that he's bringing it this much for this movie. This movie that is, call every superlative has been thrown on it, calling it SNL-like and all this kind of stuff. You know Thor Love and Thunder. It's flatly lit. It's the scene where Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson are like listening to music on a JBL speaker. It's like not a real movie core kind of movie. And then Christian Bale is like this, harrowing, dark character whose child dies in front of him and who's like seeking revenge. And he's doing this, really good antagonist performance. He has a very striking look. I'll give him that. And then also like just his mannerisms, the way he acts. He's a great villain in a different Thor movie, in a different MCU movie. He could be like a very memorable peak MCU villain, which they desperately, we could have used any help we could have gotten in the last couple phases in like memorable aspects of these films. And it's just kind of a shame that he was plopped into this movie. I just think it's interesting how this happened, that like Taika Waititi made the rest of the film and then decided to like go in this direction with Gore the God Butcher. How much of that was like the writing and the direction? How much was Bale trying to bring something to it? I don't know. But also getting Bale, like one of the best actors of this generation, for an MCU movie and like wasting him in this way, kind of sad. Kind of just like, man, like, there's only so many actors left who haven't been in a Marvel movie yet. And like you put him in Thor Love and Thunder. Kind of a shame. But he brings it. He's a great villain. We then have also, again, maybe a controversial one of like, I think it's a bad movie, but I am not a fan of the Star Wars prequels. I don't think they're good movies. I'm sorry. However, I will say there is some pretty elite casting in there. Some very memorable performances and just, casting choices. You got Liam Neeson in the first one. I don't think like Natalie Portman's a bad choice for Padme, but obviously the standout, for me at least, is Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. A little, to me, I know this might sound crazy to compare the prequels to the Harry Potter prequels, but to me, they're kind of similar coded slides in this, where the movies don't do much for me, and that performance is weirdly, like, calming and wholesome, and, like, just, I don't know, just, it embodies a type of character really well. He has that, like, stoic energy while being also, like, a fun addition. Him and Anakin, despite, me not being a big fan of Hayden Christensen's performance, I think they have, like, fun moments together. I think, and a little bit like the Dumbledore thing, I think he brings, like, that character well. Unlike Dumbledore, I think, Alec Guinness, of course, was great as Obi-Wan, but he feels like he could be a young Alec Guinness, the version of Alec Guinness. I feel like I could see him turning into the Obi-Wan from A New Hope. So yeah, props to Ewan McGregor for being, in my opinion, by far the best part of those films. Specifically, I put the second one here because that's the one I think is the worst. Then I've just put the entire cast of Babylon, basically. We got Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, I can't remember the other guy's name. The main trio, the main cast of Babylon. Not their fault that movie's bad. They're bringing it. There's a boldness to the film and to the performances that I respect. It's going for it in a way that, as a film, I think it's trying to do a bit too much. Gets a bit lost in its own pretentiousness of, like, how interesting is this, how crazy is this movie? You can't believe it. And it's like, I can believe it. It's actually just, like, kind of long-winded. But I think Margot Robbie, specifically, and the other cast members are not, like, the problem with it. I think they bring it. And that's it. Okay, that was the last slide I had. So those are some examples that I can just think of off the top of my head. Have I missed any here? Do you agree or disagree with my list? Let me know down below. I might do a part 2 of this. I feel like there's a bunch more I could talk about. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, subscribe. You can check out my main channel, BHL Hudson, my podcast, The Poorly Planned Podcast, my Letterboxd, Real BHL Hudson, and my Instagram, BHL_Hudson. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.